Okay, the next film we're reviewing is The Last Airbender, and this is a huge letdown. A 3D film that really just didn't have any third dimension in terms of screen presence, or the screen itself, or for that matter, anything else in the film is I think it's almost less than one-dimensional. This film, of course, is a takeoff of an infamous series of stories called Avatar, which obviously you can see why they took that out of the title, due to the, well, do I really have to explain it? I don't think so. Anyway, The Last Airbender is a story, of course, back in a mysterious time or whatever. They don't really specify when. It's like Lord of the Rings, you know, you don't know exactly when it's supposed to take place, but it takes place in that sort of like environment. And of course, you have the people who can bend the elements. Of course, it's a war started by the firebenders. They are a rebellious bunch who wants to take over, I guess you say, the whole world and wants to eliminate the rest of the benders. Also, you got the water. It's all the elements basically. Now, the thing about this film is that this premise itself is actually really good, but yet the execution just seemed like it was a complete mess. The intrigue of the story and the intrigue of the fantasy of it just isn't there. When you do a fantasy film, you have to have something put together. Now, of course, there's one, there's the one called the Avatar who has the skills to bend all the elements. Now, of course, this is a young boy named Ang who's been frozen for 100 years. And after being after his airbender tribe was wiped out many years before by the firebenders, he is all alone, and not only is he the last airbender, but he is the Avatar. Now, of course, he has to learn how to do these things properly. Even though he has the skills in him, he still needs to bring them out. Now, again, this is all a good premise, but the way it's done, and also the acting in this film is just really, really not very good. I know a lot of the actors are young, and they are, energetic at least, but it just seemed they were way, way off base with this. It's just like their overall presence in this film just made me roll my eyes. The most talented actor in the film was probably Dev Patel, of course, who a lot of you will know from Slumdog Millionaire. He even himself just doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing here. It looks like he looks like a convincing villain, but really he just didn't execute it very well at all. It just seemed like he was going through the motions. Now, they wanted to obviously start a franchise here, which I can understand. Now that it's made the $100 million mark, it probably will spawn a couple sequels. I don't think this film is merely as bad as many film critics say it is, but it is not very good at all. I like the way the style of the film, the setting was done in that, and that was very intriguing. The battle scene towards the end was good, but really, really drawn out for a long period of time that just was unnecessary. And it's not like Lord of the Rings where they can actually draw it out and make anything interesting, that's because there was different things happening. With these battle scenes, just like the same things were happening, just to different people. The Last Airbender really just left a lot to be desired. I was really looking forward to it. It's directed by Shamylan, who is really, really, really fallen far off the radar. It's almost like he's getting into Ed Wood territory here with the way he films some of his movies, or the movie choices he makes. Oh, okay, that's a little much. He's not as bad as Ed Wood, but still, regardless, Shamylan was once touted as the next biggest thing in Hollywood in terms of directors. Now he's the biggest laughingstock, in my opinion. You look at his films like Lady in the Water and even The Village, they just really don't hit the mark at all, and this film just joins up with those, of course, and The Happening was just as bad as the rest of them. Here's a guy who has a vision, has a good vision, but hasn't used it properly in I don't know how long. The Last Airbender is a big letdown. I suggest you avoid it. I give it 2 stars out of 5.